everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of It's All in the Movies. My name's Dustin Ingalls, and each episode I'm joined by a guest to bring you reviews of the newest releases in theaters. Today I'm joined by Kristen, and we'll be reviewing This Is the End, the new end-of-the-world comedy written and directed by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, and starring Seth Rogen, James Franco, Danny McBride, Craig Robinson, Jonah Hill, a whole bunch of people playing themselves, which is one of the funny parts about the movie. But we, I think, both were very excited about this movie. I actually feel bad because I was holding this movie to such a high standard. I wanted it to be the funniest thing ever. We were supposed to see it last week, but it didn't work out, and we haven't been able to see it till now. But we were, I think, both very excited to see it,
definitely.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so what did you think of This Is the End?
I thought it was the most absurd movie that I've ever seen. It was just completely ridiculous,
Yes.
but I loved it, and I would go back and watch it over and over and over again.
Yes,
I loved
I'm
it.
getting into this very quickly because this is going to be the first episode that I'm like really geeking out about how awesome a movie was.
Does that mean I watched the best movie that you've seen with
I
me?
loved this movie. Like, it completely... I thought it was going to be impossible for it to meet my expectations, and it so met my expectations. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, it's some massive event happens in Los Angeles, and all these famous actors are basically stuck in a house together trying to survive. And it's, so it's very meta. It's very, they're playing themselves. They're kind of playing over-exaggerated versions of themselves. They were making fun of James Franco for being the artsy one, and Jonah Hill for kind of being the mean one, but
serious and like overly nice to overcompensate for him being kind of a jerk,
And it just, so that was delightful on its own. But what I kept thinking is when you get beyond that part, really in the latter half of the movie, there isn't much. The first half depends on that stuff a lot. It's really like a lot of the jokes are about that stuff. But when you get to the second half, it could just be them playing actors, and it would still be hilarious.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it would still work so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just as good as you love Pineapple Express as well.
I love Pineapple Express.
Yes. It was just as, to me, it was just as good as that. Do you think it was as good?
I think it was. I mean, I have a special place in my heart for Pineapple Express.
So do I.
Because I think it was one of the first movies like that I saw and I just fell in love with. And I admittedly love James Franco.
Yes.
So that
Who
kind
doesn't?
of helps too.
He's amazing.
And I love James Franco and Seth Rogen together because I'm a big Freaks and Geeks fan too. So
I know.
I do have a special place in my heart for Pineapple Express, but I think this one was at least almost as good. Almost just as good.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, and it's, I'm not spoiling anything, I'm not going to get into it, but probably one of the best. There's, Pineapple Express jokes and gags throughout the movie that are just phenomenal.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to, who knows if they'll ever make another Pineapple Express or anything like that, but the jokes and the stuff they're doing in this, it's amazing.
It was
it
really funny.
made me love that stuff so much. But the other thing that maybe was not as anticipated, it's very bloody, it's very violent.
It's very violent.
It's very gory.
There's some penis jokes.
There's lots of penis jokes, so if you're not into that, it may not be your thing. But I guess you've come to expect that from this crew of people.
Yeah.
But it works. It goes off the rails in the second half. It completely goes off the rails in an amazing way.
Yeah, it was just absurd and crazy, but just hilarious, nonstop hilarious.
I know. I think we were. The amount of jokes that didn't land were just so teeny.
Yeah.
We were laughing, I think for the most part, not just us, but the theater was laughing at basically every joke. It was like all of them were landing, and even if I was laughing at it, because I was like, that's so stupid. There was so much like goodwill towards the movie because of how well it was working.
Basically, all it took was Danny McBride to like come on the screen, and everybody's like, ah.
And I know I listened to interviews with them, and they were asking kind of like who was the funniest person on set, and they would say like anytime he just has this way of being able just to say, he can just say a regular sentence and it's funny the way he says it. And I think that's true here. He gets really good gags, he gets funny things to say, but just him showing up and talking or creeping behind a corner is the funniest thing ever.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I think it's a Fredericksburg thing. I think if you're from Fredericksburg, Virginia, you automatically have that in you. So
You're just the funniest.
we're just so funny. Like everything we do is really funny. So.
Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
You know. So, I think we know. Would you recommend people see?
I would definitely recommend that people see it. I think it's hilarious. Unless you are my mom would have walked out of the movie because she doesn't appreciate humor like that.
I know.
But if you are a fan of Pineapple Express or any kind of movies like that, I definitely would recommend it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that this is every year. I love comedy, but I'm kind of a comedy snob, and that's obnoxious, I know. But there's only maybe 1 or 2 movies a year that I see, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, everyone has to see this. This is the funniest movie. And like last year, it was really I think like 21 Jump Street. I love 21 Jump Street. Pineapple Express that year. Step Brothers when that came out. I was a huge fan of Step Brothers, which I know a lot of people aren't. But this, I think, I'm going to be so happy if I see another movie this year that makes me laugh as much as this movie did. I don't think it's going to happen.
You never know.
It might. I mean, hopefully it will. The other movie I was going to review, which obviously did incredibly well this week, was Superman. Mm-hmm. There's just no way I'm going to like Superman as much as I like this movie.
I don't think so. It's going to be hard to compare it to other movies, especially in the same week if you like.
Exactly. It's just It's just a delightful movie. Obviously, there are going to be some people that don't like it. In that
my mom.
It's too it's too raunchy for some people. It may be. It's very raunchy and it's very over the top. It's very gory, but it's in the same way that Pineapple Express was kind of gory in this kind of funny way. But I mean, I would absolutely recommend that people see it if they like it. Go support this kind of movie because
more needs to be made like
more made like this. I mean, it's so original. It's so crazy. I loved it. And
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So if you had to pick one of the characters to spend the apocalypse with, who would you pick?
Well, I mean, Danny McBride's the funniest, but he would be the worst.
He would be the worst. He would be the worst. Yeah.
I mean, probably Seth Rogen, but
I would pick Craig Robinson. He was
Craig Robinson
by
was
far
great.
the best.
Craig Robinson
was by far the
that's
best.
true. That's a good point.
He was so nice and sweet
and funny.
Yeah.
It was
funny.
He would be the best. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I forgot about. He would be good, but I just. Not Michael Cera.
No, hell no.
that was a
him
phenomenal. That was a whole phenomenal bit as well that we won't ruin. But
yeah.
Michael Cera is awesome, and it's all awesome.
I think I would like to say it's probably Michael Cera's best role ever.
Yes.
Better than Arrested Development.
It was awesome. It was really good. Well, thank you so much for joining. Great job, and thank you so much for watching. Please go see this movie. It's so funny. Go see it. If you want to see more of my reviews, go to my website, itsallинthemovies.com. You can send me an email at itsallinthemovies@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at allinthemovies. This is always dangerous to do, but I'm hoping to review World War Z in the coming days, The Bling Ring, maybe, I don't know why, but it'll be good. And some other ones. So keep watching, and we'll have a lot more reviews coming your way. Thanks so much. Bye.